The tone of your voice makes a massive difference when it comes to sales. You might have thought the video was going funny then, but it wasn't. It was just me showing you that the tone that we use in our voice is a huge factor when it comes to our communications, getting the results that we want with prospects that we work with. My name is James White, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 different tones of voice and how to use them at certain stages in the sales process and when not to use them and to avoid using them in order to make sure that the deal you get doesn't go south. I'm a small business sales expert and I love helping small business owners and sales professionals everywhere get great sales results, and tone of voice is critical when it comes to winning new business. Let's have a look at the video and see how you can adjust your tone to get the right result. So in the late 1960s, there was a brilliant study done by a guy called Albert Morabian. And what he did is he identified that to get in communications, to get our message across, the words that we actually say only account for 7% of the actual conversation. The other 93% comes in the way we deliver our message and the tone of our voice. Some 38% of the ability to convey a message comes from tone. And that's why tone is so essential when it comes to sales, and why we've got to get it right in order to get the success that we need and desire and want to have in place. So what are some of the times that you can use your tonality and different types of tone to get different results? So the first tonality relates to being overexcited. Who relates to a phone call like this? Hi, it's so-and-so from such and such a company, and actually it sounds like a salesperson, and the instant reaction, because it's too overexcited, is to literally put the phone down to say, no, I'm not going to go with this conversation, especially when it sounds scripted and fake. And when people are too overexcited, it just doesn't seem right. So the time not to do that is on the first sales call. You want to be able to just tone your down, be positive, be enthusiastic for sure, but don't be so enthusiastic that it feels like you're being fake. Don't do that on the first call, but when is a good time to do it? When a prospect has said to you that they're keen to work with you. When a prospect says to me that they want to go forward, I'm like, this is fantastic news. I'm so excited to work with you. And again, I'll temper it down slightly, but I'll show my passion and ability and commitment to working with them. And I'll actually say, I'm so excited to work with you, and sound really excited as part of that process. It hopefully helps convince them that they've done the right thing and I'm passionate about supporting them to achieve the result. So don't do that overexcited phrase on a first sales call, but do it when you've just confirmed a piece of business with someone so they're excited to get started. Try it and see how you get on, but be excited in the wrong place could cost you. Do it at the right time, you're in good shape. So another type of tone of voice is that very neutral tone of voice. That very calming, just sort of very, nothing's really bothering me type of tone of voice, which makes you think that, is that person even alive? So when is the time not to do that? Well, I've had people say to me that they've had a real challenging personal circumstance, or I've even seen and listened to a phone call from someone where they've told them about something major that was going on in their world, and the other person responded with a, okay, sounds like you've got an issue there. And it made me think, wow, there's no empathy in that conversation. If I was the other person, I'd be feeling like, just like a bit aghast and feeling a bit sad that they've not really wanted to engage. So don't be that neutral when someone's giving you that sort of bad news or difficult news or told you something quite personal or challenging for them. Try and use a bit more empathy in your tone and lower that tone to, I'm so sorry to hear that, I really love to understand what happened so we can help you solve that issue. Just use that softer tone. Don't use that neutral tone in that situation. But when do you want to use a neutral tone? Maybe when you're dealing with an objection, or maybe when the person has got a concern that they're not sure about when they're trying to work with you. So let's just say someone says, I'm not sure that this can solve our issue. That's when a neutral tone such as, okay, thanks for letting me know that. And that can be a better way of approaching it. It shows that you're thinking about what they've said and you're trying to overcome and think of a response to give them. So use that neutral tone to maybe make sure that you're thinking about an objection or a concern they've raised, but certainly not when they've told you something personal. That tone, that sort of as if you're not really bothered and very calm, can work sometimes but can hurt you in others. Learn when and when to use it. Another tone you can use, which makes a massive difference in how you convey and interact with people, is that really disappointed tone. That tone of, oh, goodness me, it's so bad news, I'm fed up and that's so tough. So when would you want to use that? Well, when someone's just told you, as I mentioned in the previous point, some difficult news or some challenging situations, then I'd really want to lower my tone. I'd want to be in a position to say, I'm really sorry to hear you had that challenge and that must have been so difficult for you. Tell me more about what happened and what are you going to do to solve this and what can we do to help? When you lower that tone down and sound like you're really empathetic and caring, you're going to hopefully make that person open up and want to share more, that you can hopefully then move them to the point where you solve their problem and get them to a better place. When you don't want to use that tone though, is when you've just been told that you've lost a deal. Now you might think, well, what do you want about, James? I've just lost the deal. Of course I'm going to be disappointed. You do have to obviously show you're disappointed, but if you're too overly disappointed for them and in that conversation, it's going to go the other way. What I would do in a situation like that is say, look, thanks ever so much for letting me know and I totally understand. Of course we're disappointed, but we really wish you all the best for the project, and if it doesn't work out, give us a call. Whereas if you approach it with no, that's really bad news and I'm gutted about that and that's not good news, you're thinking about it from your perspective, not theirs. And that's going to reconfirm in the mind of the other person that they made the right decision. So don't use that disappointed tone when you've just been told bad news or that you haven't won a deal. Try and be upbeat, even though you don't feel like it, and wish them well for the future. But do use that tone when you're really engaging on a personal or challenging issue. Try and really empathise and get to see what's going on with the other person so you can hopefully solve their issue and get them through this difficult time and hopefully working with you to get to a new place. Use those tones in the right way, good things will happen. Another tone that you can use within the sales process is an inquisitive tone. An inquisitive tone might be, whoa, what's been happening there, or what's been going on? Basically elevate the first words and maybe finish with emphasis on the last word. What's been happening in this situation? How do you want to get this resolved? That tone to be able to show them intrigued, to find out what's happening with the other person, is a great way to use and is a method you should use and tone you should use when you're engaging with the first series of questions to a prospect. What's been the situation and what's been happening? Tell me more about that. And sorry to hear you've had a challenge there. Tell me what's been happening and going on. When you sound that inquisitive nature that you're really concerned about the other side, hopefully it's going to open them, help them open up and share with you their thoughts and what's happening so you can then see if they're a good fit to work with you and move forward. Where you don't want to use that inquisitive tone, however, is if you've sold to someone and then there's been a problem. Oh, what's been going on then? Or what's been happening? As if to come across as if you're perfect and you're a bit amazed that it's happened. It makes people feel that they've basically done the wrong thing by buying from you and actually you didn't really care like you said you would. Be careful about using that inquisitive tone as if you're sort of judging them and sort of wondering and questioning their situation or their decision. At that point, you want to be in a position to say, sounds like we've got a problem here and we'll work to get that resolved. You want to be careful about using that inquisitive tone when they've just told you about a challenge or problem, as it could create further issues and bigger challenges for you. But use it when you're first engaging with someone. Show that empathy, show that real ability to actively listen to what they're saying and their body language and everything they're doing. And if you use that tone in an empathetic way, good things are going to happen. And the final tone that you need to use when we're thinking about sales situations is certainty. Certainty is a great tone and method of engaging that can really give your prospect, especially when you're engaging with them, complete confidence that your solution can work for them. So I would certainly use certainty when I am able to describe the impact of the solution. We've had clients implement our blueprint and the result has been fantastic for them. They've been able to go and move their sales teams forward, have a structure that works, and the results have been incredible. My tone was certain. I was able to be assured and confident about how I asked and did things. And that really works when we're trying to get another person to see that the solution that we offer is worth them making the investment for. But when wouldn't I use certainty? This is an interesting one. It might even be a bit controversial, but I wouldn't use it if I'm in a negotiation phase, especially if I'm at the end of a sales conversation where there's a discussion about getting things right. Both sides want to move forward, but there's a little bit of work to be done. When you say, no, sorry, this is the price and we're not going to move on the price, it potentially could put the prospect the other way and maybe put their backs up. And sometimes when you express that certain tone in a negotiation situation, it can cause you more issues. You want to leave them a bit of hope and a bit of sense that there's an ability to make something happen. And sometimes that tone of certainty, and this is the way it's going to be, will get you to the point where you want to be, which is getting a deal done. And sometimes a deal needs to be done with extras or payment terms or something additional being offered. But if we're so certain and we don't want to move from our position, it could ruin all the good work you've done. So use certainty when you're describing the impact of your solution and how you can make the problems go away, but don't use it when you're in a position when you're in that final bit of negotiation discussion to get the deal done. Do those things in the right time at the right place and you're going to see better results, deals come across the line, and you becoming a happy, smiling business person. So there you go, tonality. What do you think? Does tone work for you? Are you able to adjust your tone up or down in order to get the right result? I'd love to hear your comment. Put it in the section below on what tonality and types of phrase and voices you use in order to get the results with your clients and the deals that you work with. All I do know is that certain tones at the right time make a huge impact and can be the difference between you moving forward and backwards. And I want you in the deals that you have to get great results and to see opportunities that should come across the line become winners. So use your tone in the right way. Practice on your phone. Listen to yourself talk. Identify where you're struggling and where you're improving, where you've got things to develop, and use your tone to adjust and get a different response with prospects, and you're going to see brilliant results happen. But if you don't, and if you stay very monotone all the way through with the same tone of voice, and well, don't be surprised if results don't come your way. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you have, let me know how you've put in place some of the suggestions and got results. Tell us in the comment section below so we can help and support you win more business. But thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and think it could help other sales professionals and people you work with, share the channel to them, make sure they subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification button so we get a video to you next Saturday morning. Have a great week in the meantime and adjust that tone.